Budapest, the Puskas Arena, May 30th, 2026. Gabriel Magalhaes walks to the penalty spot. Arsenal's Champions League final against PSG has gone to a shootout. This is the last kick. He misses. PSG win 4-3 on penalties. Arsenal have lost another Champions League final 20 years after the first one. But this isn't that story. This is the story of the first time. Paris, 2006. A team nobody believed in went 995 minutes without conceding a Champions League goal. They were 14 minutes from becoming champions of Europe, then 14 minutes took everything away. Summer 2005. Arsenal sell Patrick Vieira to Juventus. Not just any player, the captain of the Invincibles. The heartbeat of the team that went an entire Premier League season unbeaten. Gone, eh? And nobody in English football seems to care. The club that went unbeaten has just lost its leader. Chelsea have just won the league under Mourinho, spent over £100 million doing it. Liverpool have just won the Champions League in Istanbul, the greatest comeback in European Cup history. Arsenal, the English press writes them off. Yesterday's side. It's easy to forget how fast English football moves on. One season without a trophy, and they bury you. Arsene Wenger has no money. The Emirates Stadium is under construction, every penny locked into concrete and steel. So he builds with what he has. Free transfers, teenagers. Cesc Fabregas is 18, Matthew Flamini is 22, Felipe Senderos is 21. A squad caught between two eras. The spine is aging. Campbell is 31, Bergkamp is 36, Pyers is 32. And the replacements? Teenagers who have never played a Champions League knockout match. And this is Highbury's final season. Arsenal's home for 93 years. The marble halls, the claw camp, the North Bank. Every corner of that ground holds a memory. The club wears a special red currant kit all season, a tribute to the colors worn in their first year at Highbury in 1913. The Champions League run will transform a goodbye into a quest. One last chance to give Highbury the ultimate send-off. Every match that season carries the weight of a farewell. But domestically, Arsenal are struggling. They will finish fourth on the final day. Henry needs a hat-trick against Wigan, and Tottenham need to lose to West Ham. Both things happen, barely. Nobody expects Arsenal to do anything in Europe. Chelsea, Barcelona, AC Milan, Real Madrid, Juventus, Bayern Munich, all ranked ahead. Arsenal aren't even among the top 8 favorites. The Champions League is an afterthought. And that's what makes what happens next so difficult to explain. The European campaign begins. Group B, Thun, Ajax, Sparta Prague. Arsenal win 5 and draw 1. Dennis Bergkamp scores in the opening match against Thun, the Dutch Masters' final European campaign. People remember the big goodbyes. Bergkamp's was barely a whisper. That's how most legends leave. Henry dominates the group. Van Persie announces himself with 2 goals against Sparta Prague. And the clean sheets start stacking. From mid-group stage onward, Arsenal simply stop conceding. The 995-minute clock begins. Nobody's counting, not yet. Wenger's European shape is a 4-5-1. 5-man midfield, shielding a compact back 4, Henry alone up front. Gilberto Silva sits at the base. He fills the void Vieira left with quiet, relentless discipline, built to absorb pressure, then strike on the counter. It isn't beautiful, but it works. Nobody outside of Arsenal notices what's quietly building. And then comes the draw that changes everything. Round of 16, Real Madrid. The Galacticos, Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldo, Raul, David Beckham, Iker Casillas, Sergio Ramos. The most expensive squad in world football against a team that couldn't afford to buy anymore. You look at that Real Madrid team on paper and you think, how does Arsenal even compete? That's the whole point of this story. Santiago Bernabeu. First leg, Henry picks up the ball inside his own half. He glides past Guti, shrugs off Ronaldo, beats Ramos, beats Mejia, slots past Casillas. One of the greatest Champions League goals ever scored. 1, nil Arsenal at the Bernabeu. Second leg at Highbury, 0-0. Professional, controlled. Wenger's defensive shape doesn't give Real Madrid an inch. Arsenal win 1, Milan aggregate. 0 goals conceded across both legs against Zidane, Ronaldo, Raul, and Beckham. 0. All of Europe starts paying attention. This isn't a fluke. Arsenal aren't underdogs anymore. They're a genuine threat. And the clean sheet streak keeps growing. 7 consecutive matches now. Nobody has scored against this team in Europe. You think the story is about the goals Arsenal score. It isn't. It's about the goals they don't concede. Quarter-final, Juventus. Fabio Capello's side, Del Piero, Nedved, Buffon, Cannavaro, Ibrahimovic. And one more name on the team sheet, Patrick Vieira, Arsenal's former captain, the man who left because he wanted to win the Champions League. Highbury, first leg. Cesc Fabregas, 18 years old, the boy who replaced Vieira, scores the opening goal against Vieira's new club. Henry adds the second. Juventus lose their composure. Camoranesi sent off, Zabina sent off. Tfo, nil Arsenal. Turin, second leg. The Stadio delle Alpi, 0-0. Total defensive control. Wenger's 4-5-1 suffocated Capello's attack across both legs. This Juventus side would later be stripped of their Serie A titles in the Calciopoli scandal. But that night, they were still one of the most feared teams in Europe. Arsenal win 2, 0 on aggregate, 9 consecutive Champions League clean sheets. The streak is becoming something nobody has ever seen. Vieira left Arsenal to win the Champions League. His 18-year-old replacement just knocked his new club out. Semifinal, Villarreal. Manuel Pellegrini's side. Riquelme, Forlan, the best team Villarreal has ever produced. First leg at Highbury. Kolo Touré scores the only goal. 1-0. El Madrigal. Second leg. Villarreal come at Arsenal for 89 minutes, wave after wave. 0-0 heading into stoppage time. 90th minute. Penalty to Villarreal. Riquelme steps up. Lehmann dives right. Saves it. 10 consecutive clean sheets. 995 minutes without conceding a Champions League goal. A record. Arsenal are in the final. And then comes the night that changes everything. Stade de France, Paris, May 17th, 2006. Arsenal against Barcelona. Ronaldinho, the 2005 Ballon d'Or. Eto'o, Deco, Puyol, Xavi. Iniesta is 21, sitting on the bench. Messi is 18, injured and not in the squad. Barcelona are entering a dynasty. Arsenal are saying goodbye. Think about what that means. One side is building something that will dominate for a decade. The other is trying to give a 93-year-old stadium one last perfect night. 18th minute, Lehmann brings down a toe just outside the box. Red card. The first red card in the history of the European Cup final. Wenger has to sacrifice an outfield player. He chooses Pires. Robert Pires walks off the pitch. 18 minutes. That's all he gets of the match. He trained his whole career to play. It is the last time he will ever wear an Arsenal shirt. You have to wonder what goes through a player's mind in that moment. 18 minutes of a Champions League final, and then it's over. Not because of anything you did. 37th minute. Henry, free kick. Sol Campbell rises above everyone. Header, goal. 1-0 Arsenal. 10 men leading in a Champions League final. 995 minutes, still intact. And now Arsenal defend. Wenger's 4-5-1 becomes a 4-4-1. Then something closer to a 5-4-0. Everyone behind the ball. Every clearance matters. Every block. Every second. Barcelona have 70% of the ball Ronaldinho drifts left, right, central, searching for a crack that doesn't exist. 72 minutes of holding on with 10 men against the best attack in world football. And for 72 minutes, it works. Not comfortably, not elegantly, but it works. 61st minute, Rijkaard makes a substitution. Henrik Larsson, 34 years old, playing his final match for Barcelona. 76th minute, Larsson finds Eto'o, finish, 1-1, 995 minutes, over. 81st minute, Larsson again, Belletti, 2-1. Larsson, in his final match for Barcelona, assisted both goals. 14 minutes, from 1-0 up to 2-1 down. The man who was leaving destroyed the team that was hoping to arrive. Not with pace, not with trickery, with two simple passes. The dream is dead. Full time. Henry sits alone on the pitch. The Stade de France empties around him. He doesn't move. Maybe that's what the Champions League does. It doesn't just beat you. It shows you exactly what you almost had. 20 years. Highbury is now apartments. The Emirates stands where the old car park used to be. Wenger leaves. Henry retires. Pires moves on. Campbell, Ljungberg, Bergkamp, all gone. The players who built the 2006 run dispersed. Cole to Chelsea, Fabregas eventually to Barcelona, Henry to Barcelona. The squad that overachieved was never replaced with one that could do it again. The Emirates brought financial stability, but years of austerity. Other clubs have lost Champions League finals and come back. Arsenal never did. It's strange to think that 995 minutes became a monument, not to success, to what might have been Budapest, 2026. Arsenal rebuild from the ground up. Arteta, Saka, Rice, Saliba, a new generation. They reach the Champions League final again, take the lead again. Havertz, 5th minute, and they lose again. Dembele equalizes. Penalties. Gabriel steps up, misses. Gabriel sits alone on the Puskas Arena pitch. 2 men, 2 decades, the same ending. 995 minutes. That's how long Arsenal went without conceding a Champions League goal. It took 14 minutes to destroy that. 20 years later, they still haven't held the trophy. For Arsenal supporters, Paris 2006 was the closest they ever came. For everyone else, it was proof that football can be crueler than fiction.